Whether you're creating a cozy baby blanket or a sophisticated cardigan, this stitch is the epitome of crochet elegance. Its charm lies in its simplicity, with a one-row repeat. Because this unique stitch tilts slightly to one side, it produces a unique wave effect that looks far more complicated than it actually is. A blanket or cardigan made with this stitch is sure to provide warmth, with a comforting weight that's not too heavy. Hi, I'm Minnie from This and That Minis. Thanks for joining me. Hit that subscribe button and let's get started. Everything you're going to need for this project is some of this pale yellow yarn here. I'm not sure of the exact color, but I do know it's Red Heart. This is just out of my stash here, and it doesn't have a label. This Afghan here turned out so pretty. Whether you're crocheting a blanket for yourself or a family member, or giving as a gift, keep in mind that this stitch provides warmth, so it's perfect for a baby blanket or even a cardigan. I used a 5mm crochet hook here, a pair of scissors, 2 stitch markers, and a yarn needle. Let's begin with a slip knot. We'll start our foundation row with single crochets or chaining. We'll chain in multiples of 6. So once you've determined the length of the item you are crocheting, add an additional 2 stitches to the end of that, and I'll meet back up with you then. For the first row, we're going to skip the first 2 stitches from the hook, and into that 3rd stitch, we're going to place a half double crochet. Place a half double crochet in each stitch down the length of the row. This is just creating a sturdier base to place those beautiful stitches on rather than just a chain of singles. I will meet back up with you when we're at the end of this row. At the end of your row, chain 1. Turn your work. Skipping that first stitch from your hook, we'll go into that 2nd stitch and place a single crochet. To help you keep track, place a stitch marker in that chain 1. You can also place a stitch marker at the top of your chain 2 when you began your row of half double crochets. After that single crochet there, chain 3. In that same stitch, place 3 double crochets. And 3. That is our first sequence. We'll skip 2 stitches, and into that 3rd stitch, a single crochet. Chain 3. 3 double crochets in that same stitch. And there's 3. That's what it should look like now. Skip 2 stitches. In that 3rd stitch, single crochet. Chain 3. 3 double crochets in that same stitch. That is our repeat. Continue like so until you reach the end of the row, and I'll meet back up with you then. And now at the end of the row, you should have 3 stitches left. 2 stitches and then that chain 2 space where your stitch marker is. We're going to skip those 2 stitches, and where your stitch marker is, we're going to place a single crochet. Chain 2. Turn your work. Here where your 3 double crochets are from the previous row, we're going to front post single crochet in that 3rd double crochet. So placing your hook behind that 3rd double crochet, place a single crochet. If you need to, replace your stitch marker in the 2nd chain of that chain 2. From that single crochet, we're going to chain 3. Now from the chain 3 from the previous row, we're going to place our 3 double crochets into this. There's the first pattern sequence of our 2nd row. We're going to find that 3rd double crochet from the previous row and front post single crochet into that, chain 3, or find that chain 3 from the previous row, place 3 double crochets in that. And again, finding that 3rd double crochet from the previous row's sequence, front post single crochet, chain 3, finding that chain 3 space, 3 double crochets, and that is our repeat. Continue like so until we get to the end of the row. Here we are on the end of the 2nd row. Find that last double crochet of that set of 3 and place your last sequence. Front post single crochet, chain 3, and 3 double crochets in that chain 3 space of the previous row. And going into that stitch just above your stitch marker, place a single crochet. With a chain 2. Turning our work to begin the 3rd round is just as we've been doing. Front post, single crochet in that 3rd double crochet from the previous row. And now you know what you're doing. Chain 3, 3 double crochets in that chain 3 space. Move your stitch marker up to the 2nd chain of your chain 2. If you need to. You don't have to use stitch markers if you don't need to. This is the extent of this pattern here. Continue like so until you finish the length of the item you are making. I will be back to show you how to finish off with a half double crochet row like we did to begin if you're creating an Afghan. Be back in a moment. At the end of your last row, chain 2. Turn your work. Place a half double crochet at the top of each of these 3 double crochets from the previous row. This is a row of half double crochets. and 3. Skipping this chain 3 space, we're going to go into that single crochet from the previous row. We're going to go right into the middle of that and place a half double crochet. And then again, 3 half double crochets at the top of each of these 3 double crochets from the previous row. And skipping that chain 3 space, place a half double crochet in the single crochet of the previous row. And that is our repeat. 3 half double crochets at the top of each of these 3 double crochets of the previous row. You'll see it starts evening itself out there. Well, thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video.
Leave a comment
below if you have any questions or suggestions. I'd really love to hear from you. Hit that subscribe button and watch these videos next.